Hours before the start of joint military exercises between the U.S. and South Korea, President Donald Trump ordered the Pentagon to substantially scale them back. In a social media post announcing the change, the president cited his positive relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, saying the drills send a signal that is, quote, inappropriate and hostile to North Korea. The president also cited Seoul's lack of assistance with Iran, saying he recently asked South Korea's president if they would like to join the, quote, denuclearization of Iran, and he says they said no. CNN's new Seoul correspondent Gage Goulding is following developments on the Korean Peninsula, and he's joining me now here in Hong Kong. Hey, Gage, so what is in this new Truth Social post, and how is South Korea responding as these drills are now underway?
You know, I think there's a lot to unpack here, Will. And let's start with the fact that it's too late to cancel the drills. The president acknowledged that in his own Truth Social post, saying that it's basically too late to cancel, and he's asking the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to scale back the operation. But today, the South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff telling us that the operation started as planned. And this is a massive operation. There's about 18,000 South Korean military members that are joining a number of the U.S. forces that are based in South Korea. About 28,500 U.S. service members are based there. And this is an annual thing, something that's been going on for years. But I will note that during President Trump's first term, he scaled back the operations in 2018 and 2019. And then, of course, we know COVID in 2020 and 2021. There was, a kind of a lesser version, if you will, of that operation for yet another reason. Then earlier this week, or last week, I should say, North Korea called this exercise quote, rehearsal of an aggressive war. And as part of that, although North Korea did not acknowledge the fact that they were launching ballistic missiles over the last 2 weeks, they launched 2 different ballistic missiles, likely kind of in a sense of being opposed to this exercise. But Will, as you very well know, as you've covered North Korea in and out, this is a very large-scale operation exercise preparing for war. And specifically this time, Will, they were looking at, modern warfare, the use of drones, GPS jammers, those kinds of things. So while the Truth Social post does say he wants to scale it back, we have a great relationship with North Korea, it's really kind of just that, a post, and really we'll have to see over the coming days, because this is a 10-day exercise, whether the exercise really will be scaled back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we should talk about this other Truth Social post over the weekend as well from President Trump, because he shared that photo of himself and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, it was an interesting post. There it is right now. You can see they don't necessarily look happy, but the caption on the post says, despite the unfriendly look on this particular picture, there are many where we're smiling, and that he and the North Korean leader get along great. Now, this was sent a day before. Whether the president just was, had Twitter fingers, if you will, and posted this, or if this is something he was thinking of. Again, going back to his latest post, he says it's too late to cancel. Now, it depends on how long he was thinking about this, whether he was aware it was happening, and those are details that we'll learn in the coming hours. It sure does indicate that he's maybe potentially trying to signal to, Pyeongchang that he wants to have some sort of summit again. He met the North Korean leader several times during his first presidency, and there were indications that he wanted to meet since he's taken off, this second time. But so far we're not necessarily seeing any indication from the North Korean side, Will, that wants to be the case as well.
Yeah, in fact, zero engagement on the North Korean side, despite President Trump's repeated overtures going all the way back to his trip to Asia late last year. Gage Goulding in Hong Kong, appreciate the update. Thank you very much.